Hi everybody and welcome to TV3 and another edition of the Spartan Sports Report. Joining Sam and me is head coach of CHS football, Adam Kelly. Adam, welcome.
Well, thanks for having me, Fran.
I know you're happy to see Adam.
I'm very happy. We've been wanting him on here for a couple of years now.
Well, the practice schedule hasn't quite agreed with it, so
we understand.
So we were able to make it happen today.
You're a busy guy. You're a busy guy this time of the year. And we're going to talk about football and the Spartans' a big win. First of all, we want to get the calendar for this week at CHS. The junior varsity football is home to Centerville, aren't they?
Yes, tonight.
Okay.
They're getting ready to kick off here in about an hour or so.
Good deal. On Tuesday, the boys' tennis will be at Union County. The cross country will be at Batesville. That's an invitational. Junior varsity and varsity volleyball home to Union County. The JV plays at 5:30 and the varsity at 6:30, and girls soccer will be at Franklin County on Tuesday. Wednesday's an off day, so Thursday, junior varsity and varsity boys soccer home to Batesville. Varsity game at 5, and the JV game will be at 6:30. Also Thursday, the girls soccer varsity and junior varsity game at Greensburg. The IHSAA tennis schedule begins at Connorsville, continues on Saturday. Cross country will be at Greensburg. That's an invitational. Varsity and junior varsity volleyball will be home to Rushville, JV at 5:30, varsity game at 6:30. On Friday, it'll be the East Central team coming to Spartan Stadium. That'll be Youth Football League night. On Saturday, varsity and junior varsity games are at Lawrenceburg. That's volleyball. Tennis sectional continues at Connorsville. And at middle school today, cross-country team will be at Greensburg. That's a meet, the Indiana Athletic Conference meet, Eastern Indiana Athletic Conference meet for the young guys and gals at middle school in the Greensburg. So we hope that they do well in that meet. Tuesday, the football will be home to Newcastle at 5 o'clock, kickoff. I believe they play at Spartan Stadium too, don't they, Adam?
Who's that?
Middle school football?
Yes, they do.
Okay, good deal. And the volleyball team will be at Union City on Tuesday. The swimming and diving boys and girls will be home to South Dearborn at 5:30. That, of course, is at the CHS Natatorium. Wednesday at middle school, volleyball will be at Julia Test in Richmond. On Thursday, the volleyball will be at Cambridge City. The swimming and diving is home to Richmond at 5:30. And on Saturday, the volleyball will be hosting an invitational at Spartan Arena beginning at 9 o'clock. Swimming and diving team goes to Richmond to participate in an invitational. And that's this week in sports at CHS and CMS. Big game Friday night. You scored early and often.
We did. We were able to take advantage of some miscues by our opponent, and and that's something that I'm constantly talking with Sam about in our pregame is, we're going to have a chance to win each ball game if we can take advantage of the opportunities presented to us. And we've been able to do that the last few weeks, and that's why we're 2-1 out of the last 3 ball games.
I thought your team played as well on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. I've seen them all season long, and I think one of the things that really stands out to me was your defensive unit getting that safety. And that, to me, that's a big deal.
It is. You could really tell that they were getting after it on Friday. And we've had some games where, especially early on in the season, the first couple weeks, you could see where they almost seemed unsure of themselves. Where on Friday, these past couple Friday nights, you could see they understand what they're supposed to be doing, and they're able just to kind of play. And so we're excited about the direction that they're headed, definitely.
And that Broad Ripple team, a lot of quickness on that team, and to hold them to 1 touchdown, I think is pretty good.
Yeah, and they got that on a halfback pass there late, which was a well-designed play, and we bid on it. But they have a lot of tremendous athletes on their team. They're lacking a little bit of organization, and they're lacking a few linemen here and there, and that just goes to show you how important it is to have the guys up front that are capable of doing their job. Because with the athletes they have, in the backfield and split out, you would think that they'd be able to put up a lot of points, but their line struggles a little bit, and so therefore, they struggle on game night.
43-6 was the final. He scored twice in the first quarter. twice in the second, and one each in the third and fourth, right?
Yes, sir.
The kids must have really felt good after this game.
They did, and we were able to, about halfway through the second quarter, and in fact, we went to a reserve quarterback to start the second quarter, and we let him play an entire quarter, let him get some consistency instead of just getting out in mop-up time at the end of the game. So we did that with several kids throughout the night. It was a game where we figured we would have that opportunity to do that. So anytime we can get kids experience on Friday, we believe that, that's definitely a win.
Game experience is invaluable.
It is. Practice, you can't simulate how fast the kids are, how aggressive the kids are, how technical sound the kids are. Like, we're getting ready to go play an East Central team that is coached extremely well, and they play every piece of their offense and defense. The kids know what they're doing, and they do a very good job with it. And so we don't have the numbers at this point where we can provide our starters with enough game-type atmosphere to prep them completely. So anytime they can get out on Friday night and play, that helps definitely.
How do you prepare for a team like East Central?
Well, we have to do some things formation-wise and scheme-wise in order to manipulate their defense from the offensive side, to manipulate their defensive fronts to get them to where we believe we have the advantage. We're not going to be able to line up and double tight and say, hey, we're going to mash you and get 3 and 4 yards at a clip. We're going to have to, like I said, manipulate their defensive fronts and be able to get numbers to our advantage. And then since we're an option running football team, our goal and a lot of our plays is to get our linemen downfield on linebackers and safeties and corners rather than trying to match up with those 6'2", 300-pounders they have down on the defensive line. So our scheme really bodes well for us in this contest because they're with the I don't want to say that we're at a lower level talent-wise. We just don't have as many talented kids throughout the team as they do. So we do have a lot of talent, and so we've got to find out how to use that talent against their scheme to find success.
You have some film on some of their games?
We do. We have film, the last 3 years that the same coaching staff has been there. So we have our film against them the last few years, and then we have their past 2 weeks. Coaches exchange film.
Yes.
We exchanged last week on Wednesday, their week prior film, and then on Friday night, once we had our film uploaded and they upload their film, then we exchanged that as well.
They were shut out by Cincinnati School. Do you have anything on that game?
I believe that team's ranked in the top 5 in the nation.
Cincinnati LaSalle.
Yeah. So, and I've been to a couple clinics where their coaching staff has talked, and they run the offense that we're running right now. So that's a top line program in the country. So
Yes.
for them to go down, I believe it was 33-0 or 31-0 somewhere in there, and for them to hold them to 33 points. It's something. It really is, from a small community in southeastern Indiana.
It looks like a great game coming up, and as we mentioned, it's Youth League football night. Where do these kids come from?
Our grades K through 6, we have a team in each grade level. Kindergartners and first graders play together, but then we have a team for first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, and 5th and 6th grade each have their own team, and so they're going to be recognized at halftime. They'll announce the coaching staff, and they'll announce the kids, and they'll get to run out onto the field, and so that's pretty cool. And they wear their jerseys to the games. They get into the game free. So it's a way to honor and congratulate them for the efforts that they put in. The coaching staff, it's all volunteer. It's a bunch of dads that are out there. And a lot of them are going to clinics and doing things to make themselves better as coaches, and they put in a lot of time. So Coach Duncan does a good job of representing, or recognizing the efforts that those guys are putting in to help build a program here in Connersville.
When and where do these youngsters play their games?
We play on Saturdays. Some weeks we host. This past Saturday we hosted here at Grandview. So first grade kicked off at 9 a.m. And each game is scheduled for an hour and 30 minutes. And we went all the way through grades 1 through 6, and we played, I believe it's one of the East Central schools, Sunman or Bright, And next week we travel, I believe, to Milan. So it's essentially our varsity conference, our high school conference, is what our youth league is in. So we host 4 home games, and then we travel to 4 games, and then they have a playoff at the end of the year. So it's pretty cool, and the kids are competing against kids that they're going to compete against in middle
When they get to
school,
high school, yeah.
and the same kids are going to be competing against in high school. So we feel very fortunate to be in that league.
Sam, I know you point out that East Central has a lot of young kids. When you go to East Central,
Yeah.
when they come out, so it's great to see that program here.
It is. It certainly is. I know last year when we went down there, Coach, it seemed like I thought, where are these kids coming from? The youngsters, they just kept coming and kept coming. But there's a lot of interest, and I know the interest is here also, and you're trying to build on that enthusiasm.
You know, our numbers are up from last year. We were also able to. We have a lot of parents that are now getting involved over the past couple years, and so fundraising is up and different things. And you know, we were able to purchase new equipment and new uniforms, and a lot of people doing a lot of things in order to promote the program and build it to where it should be.
Do they play 11 players just like?
Yeah, 11 on 11.
Mm-hmm.
I helped coach the first grade team. I did that as well last year. I figure I get to know the kids as they come into the system, get to know the parents as they come into the system. The first grade is an instructional game, so the coaching staff officiates the game, and we don't keep score. The kids keep score, and the coaches are keeping score. They know. But other than that, after starting in the second grade up to 6th grade, it's 11 on 11. It's full rules. We have officials on the field, and they really get after it. We think it's definitely a positive.
Oh,
Absolutely.
It has to be.
Absolutely. I know you don't wait until August to start practice. Your kids you want them busy year-round.
Yes.
Football players.
We do, and we encourage them to wrestle, and we encourage them to play basketball, and we encourage them to swim and do a variety of activities. But if they're not involved in those things, we open up the weight room after school each day for an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes, and we do strength training and speed training and those types of things. And we'll do that after our season ends. I usually take 2 weeks off or so, and then we get right back at it. So there's no rest, and I think it's a positive thing for the kids to stay involved and stay connected. You know, as well as I do, there's other opportunities to do things that maybe they shouldn't be doing, and we're not trying to keep our thumb on them,
Sure.
but we want to offer them a positive atmosphere for
Sure.
them to be active and you know, use their time wisely.
You played for the Spartans 20 years ago plus. Has the game changed since then? The kids changed? Can you compare?
I think so. The kids have changed because society has changed. As far as, I don't want to say they lack work ethic, but it's just it's a different mentality in some aspects. I think the athletes today are better than they were when I played 20 years ago. They're faster, they're stronger. The equipment is better. You know, even the uniforms. We used to wear, you know, the big baggy things, and now you can't pull that uniform a centimeter away from their pads. So technology has advanced the games. The coaching staffs now are incredibly bright, and they are incredibly involved in research and trying to find ways to make their programs better. You know, when I was young, weightlifting was a thing, but it still wasn't as big as it is now. Now there's, you know, weight programs that are broken up by, you know, different segments of the year, and they bring in different types of training. And I mean, it's athletics in high school, and then up into college, and obviously into the pros. It's all advanced quite a bit since I was a player.
Talk a little bit about how you got here. I know that you were in the Army. Of course, you went off to school, and you were an assistant coach, I believe, in Kansas.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that experience and leading up to becoming head coach here at CHS.
When I was in high school, and I was getting I was getting recruited by a few different schools, and Coach Spencer was doing a very good job of promoting me because I wanted to go play college ball, and they often asked questions about what I wanted to do, and I'd never thought past, you know, the next day. Essentially, I just wanted to play sports and play football specifically. And that kind of led me into coaching because I said, I want to do what Coach Spencer does. And then I had an opportunity to go to St. Joseph's College, a D2 school up here. And I went there for a very short period of time and left. I was homesick, I guess you would say, and not ready for life of my own, and came home, and my dad encouraged me to join the military. And so I went off and joined the military, and then when I was done with the military, my wife encouraged me to go back to school because she asked me, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to teach and coach. So we both went back to school. She was still in school. And then I got my degree and landed a job at Olathe, Kansas, which is a suburb of Kansas City, about 120 to 130,000 population. They have 4 high schools and 8 middle schools and 32 elementary schools. So it's a decent sized place. And I was able to get onto a staff there, and it was a great staff. And I talked to the head coach right away about what my aspirations were, and he let me tag along and let me get involved in as many things as I could, and he gave me opportunities to lead. And when this job opened up in 2012, I asked my wife, I said, is it okay if I apply? And I'd asked her previously, and she said she wasn't ready to make that move, but this time she did, so I put my name in the hat, and I was fortunate enough to get the position.
And back when you were in high school, who would have ever thought that the chances of that actually coming about? I mean, it's got to be a great feeling.
It is. I'm very humbled at times and frustrating, or at times when I get frustrated during a season when things aren't going the way they're supposed to go, or at the end of a season like last year where there were opportunities to do better and have a little more success. I go back to that and I think about that and how fortunate I am to be where I am with the people that I'm with. Doing something that I love to do.
So your wife's adapted very well here, and your children are doing well at school.
The kids are great, and Suzanne does a good job. She's made a lot of friends and become part of the community. So she's warmed up to it. I think it took it a little bit of a time because it's such a difference for her. But I think she loves the community now.
From a personal level, I was very pleased when you were able to come back. Of course, you and my son Ben were best of friends growing up, and I just thought it was nice that you guys were able to come back and you could renew those old acquaintances.
It's been fantastic. A lot of guys that I went to school with or played ball with, coaching some of their kids now and teaching some of their kids. So it is really a neat opportunity.
You were a swimmer too, weren't you?
I was a swimmer. Swam from being a little kid up until after my freshman year of high school. I decided that I got a little taste of football, and I decided I wanted to do that year-round. And my parents weren't very happy about it, and they told me, hey, your scholarship is going to be through swimming, so that just pushed me harder to earn a scholarship playing ball. But I still have a lifeguarding certificate to this day. I've held that all these years, and I feel very grateful that I was able to, or what swimming did for me, the work ethic, health-wise, to the physical health, all those things have definitely contributed. And my mom was a coach. She didn't coach. She was very good. And she didn't coach a whole lot when we were little. Mm-hmm. It was more as we moved on, and she got involved when the younger siblings were still involved.
Yes, yeah. Yes. Let's talk about your coaching staff at CHS. You've got some guys that have been with you since day one, haven't you?
Yeah, yes, and we've added a few pieces as we've gone, and our staff is, like I said, fortunate to be working with the people I'm working with. I've played with almost every member of the staff. Either I was a freshman when they were seniors with my oldest brother, Hal. Yeah. Coach Lynch was in that class. Orland Foster was in that class. Coach Miller was in that class. And then we have Jason Morris, who was in my class. He was our quarterback. And Adam Keene, who was in the class just below me. And then we have Ron Paxson, who moved here a couple years ago and has been an incredible asset to our program. He does everything throughout the summer with me, and he's my go-to guy. If I need something, I call him, and he takes care of us. And then Andy Beckman, he's done a really good job for us, coached at the middle school for us for a little bit as well. And Bob Myers, who came on staff this year, he's a CHS graduate, I believe, from the late 60s, early 70s.
67 or 68.
Okay.
He's a little older than I am, but he was a tremendous athlete when he was in high school.
And he coached for years down in Florida. And so he's been a great get for us as far as the coaching staff goes. So our coaching staff is very knowledgeable. Our coaching staff is very good with the kids. I think they handle them very well. I think they're hard on them when they need to be hard on them, and I think they're soft on them when they need to be soft on them. So I would put our coaching staff up against any coaching staff in our league, and I think we would hold our own.
These fellows have specific duties. You have an offensive coach, defensive coach.
We do. We kind of split it down the middle. Coach Miller is our defensive coordinator, and then I guess I would be considered the offensive coordinator. But Coach Lynch, Coach Morris, and Coach Keene are kind of the offensive assistants. Coach Keene works with the offensive line. Coach Morris works with the quarterbacks. Coach Lynch works with quarterbacks and running backs. And Coach Paxton works with the wide receivers. We don't have too many of those guys, so it's a short list. And then on the defensive side of things, Coach Miller's the D coordinator, like I said. And then Coach Paxton works with our defensive backs, and Coach Myers works with our linebackers. I do as well, and Coach Foster with our D-line. So when we get into meetings and we split up and we go our separate ways, they kind of go and they game plan defensively, and we get together and we game plan offensively. So and I trust that they're doing what is in the best interest of our program.
And they're some of them are up on the roof of the press box and talking to you through headsets, correct?
Yes, Coach. We put Coach Morris up top. He's the guy that talks to me. I put him up. He's a calm guy, and that helps me when I'm down there. And Coach Lynch, he's on a headset too, but he's down on the sideline. And Coach Keene's on a headset, and he's down on the sideline. And then defensively, we have Coach Paxton up top, talking to Coach Miller. I have a button where I can push the button, and I can talk to anybody on the staff, but usually I stay on the offensive side and let the defensive guys do their thing. And
if you don't want to hear them, you can take the headset off.
I do that from time to time too. I've gotten used to it. The first year coaching, I'd worn a headset before, but that was when I was a coordinator up in the box. And so I found that all that noise in there was giving me a hard time. So there were several games where they're yelling all kinds of stuff, and I wasn't listening to them. So I've gotten used to it. And I've gotten used to listening to what these guys are saying, and we go with what they recommend quite a bit.
You call plays from the sideline, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When a young guy joins a team, does he get a book of plays, numbers? So how does that work?
No. I know a lot of places hand out playbooks and do those things, and we could put one down on paper. But we're pretty simple in what we do. And if the kids show up and the kids go through the workouts and go through the practices, it doesn't take long for it to stick. And so, and I help the coaches as they come on to get to understand. And once they get the base down, we can do anything we want off of the base. Once they know the language, and we'll hand out sheets of paper that say this word means this and this word means this and that type of thing. But we don't have a big thick playbook like a lot of people have.
After the quarterback gets the play from you and returns to the huddle, if the defense lines up in a different way, you sometimes call a timeout. Is that what you do?
Well, he has the ability to change the play at the line of scrimmage.
Okay,
yeah, we have a numerical system and a color scheme that will tell the offensive line and the backs, hey, this is what we're switching to, and this is the hole we're going to. Or we might give them, we'll call a play check with me. We'll give him the play that we want to run, but we'll say check with me, so the quarterback will go up, and when we say pick the bubble, we'll find the spot where we want to go to, and then he'll call that while he's going through his cadence at the line of scrimmage.
So a guy playing football has to have some football savvy between the ears.
He does, and sometimes it takes a while. That's why it's hard. Sometimes we get some of these athletes that will come out their junior, senior year, and hey, I want to play football. Well, it's more to it than just putting on the pads and being able to run fast. You have to have some, not necessarily intelligence isn't the thing that makes it or break it, but like you said, have an understanding of the game. And we find that has fallen off a little bit lately as well, because kids are doing so many things. I think when I was a kid, play sports outside, watch sports on TV, that was about all there was to do. And now, with the internet and the different types of TV programs and those types of things, we really have to start at ground zero with a lot of kids and teach them the basics of the game. And that's why the feeder program is so important. And that's why we're spending so much time down there. So when they get up to freshman football, we're hoping they have that basic knowledge down, and then we can just take them and expand with it.
Sure. I know nothing makes you happier, any coach happier, than to see his players on the honor roll.
Yes. Academics, we push them. We talk about them. I tell the kids that, whether you like school or not, that it's freedom. It gives you opportunities. And, I wasn't a big school guy. I didn't necessarily enjoy school a whole lot. I did it enough so I could continue to play sports, and now I'm teaching it. We stress it. We stress it to the parents more than anything. As much as we want to coddle each kid along and help them at every aspect of their life, we don't have the time to do that, and we do what we can, but we also try to reach out to the parents and try to help them understand the importance of the education piece of what we're doing as well.
And you look and your father was a great man, and you look at the wisdom that he had, that he pushed you to go to the military, and you learned the discipline there that it took then to finish your education, and I'm sure you're using a lot of those, not only what your father taught you, but also what the military had taught you.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, he was wise. He knew I needed a few more years. I wasn't ready to be an adult yet, I guess you could say. And the military wasn't that difficult for me from a mental standpoint because of the way I was raised at home. It wasn't too hard to be quiet.
Well, you had all
and
those
stand
brothers
still.
and sisters. It was like going to the chow hall.
That's right. So it wasn't that far-fetched. But, my parents are great people, and hopefully they did a good job.
What do you teach at CHS?
I teach health, and I have 1 hour of APC, or advanced physical conditioning. So I'm in the PE department. Last year I had a freshman PE class, so I'm trying to get more involved in the physical education part of it, but my classroom, I teach health in class.
I see.
Yeah.
Following the East Central game, you go on the road to Lawrenceburg. They're playing well.
They are. They have some good players. They've returned a lot of their kids from last year. I think Greensburg was able to get them. Maybe not. Franklin County was able to beat them a couple weeks ago, so they're beatable. They're a team. It's about matchups, though, a lot of times in high school football, and they're more of a spread team and like to throw the ball. They've got a good quarterback. They've got a good set of receivers. So I think maybe that's where Franklin County probably fell a little short as far as athleticism goes, being able to match up with that type of system. And you see that quite a bit, where you have one team one team blows this team out, and then that team goes and beats a team that, how does that happen? Well, it's scheme and matchups and a whole lot of things come into it. A couple kids injured or a couple kids, on disciplinary, whatever.
Yes. We're fortunate of your last 3 regular season games. 2 are at home. After the Lawrenceburg game, you'll be back home to Batesville, senior night, pink out night.
Yes, and that's an important game we want this program to be not focused, but we want this program to see the importance of playing good playoff football. And so that Batesville game each year kind of gives us an idea of what direction we're headed as we go into the playoffs. Are we getting better? Are we still building momentum? So we circle that one on the calendar each year and hope that we're playing our best football when we hit that game.
Coach, these 3 teams are beatable if we follow the 2 T's, make tackles and don't make turnovers.
Absolutely. And if you look at our statistics when we're making those tackles and we're not turning over the ball, whether we're winning or losing doesn't come into play necessarily as competitive as those games are. We're in those games when we don't make those mistakes.
Coach Adam Kelly, CHS head coach at football, thanks for taking time out from your practice sessions. I know all your sessions are important, but we want to thank you for joining us on tonight's program.
Well, thanks for having me, Fran.
That's the Spartan Sports Report for right now, folks. Thanks for watching TV3.